right, the breaking news coming in. It's a setback for the Gujarat government. The Supreme Court has set aside Gujarat High Court's judgment that cleared the decks for Sabarmati Ashram Redevelopment. This was on a challenge raised by Tushar Gandhi, the great-grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. All right, my colleague Harish is joining us on the broadcast for more on this. Harish, this is really a big setback for the Gujarat government, is it?
Yes, today the Supreme Court, while hearing a petition filed by Tushar Gandhi, the great-grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, has set aside the Gujarat High Court judgment of November last year, whereby the court had in fact given the green signal, cleared the decks for the redevelopment of Bapu's Mahatma Gandhi's Sabarmati Ashram. Remember, even in the Gujarat High Court, Tushar Gandhi had said that the redevelopment project would reduce the ashram into a commercial hub, as there is a plan to convert it into a world-class museum and a tourist destination. Tushar Gandhi had argued that the project will ensure that the pristine simplicity will be corrupted, and the aesthetic complex, the aesthetics of the complex will be weakened, and it will be a huge blow to the heritage of Gandhiji. The main argument of this was that the pristine simplicity of Mahatma Gandhi's ashram will be damaged by this project. The Supreme Court accepted these arguments and said that it found from the records that High Court had in fact summarily disposed of the public interest litigation which was filed by Tushar Gandhi in Gujarat High Court, and now has restored this petition back to the High Court. The Justice D.Y. Chandrachud-led bench of the Supreme Court has asked the Gujarat High Court to once again rehear this petition filed by Tushar Gandhi, as it had found that earlier the High Court had not called for affidavits from the government and other stakeholders, and had not extensively heard all the parties before it had disposed of the petition. So as of now, the Supreme Court has, number one, set aside the Gujarat High Court judgment which had given the green signal to the project. Number two, the Supreme Court has asked the Gujarat High Court to once again hear the petition afresh after giving a proper opportunity for all sides to place their arguments, including the Gujarat government and the petitioner, and also call for affidavits from all sides and pronounce a judgment. So the matter has been once again remanded back to the Gujarat High Court. Before that, the Supreme Court has set aside the Gujarat High Court judgment. But very importantly, Justice Chandrachud said that even has written in the order that the Supreme Court has not gone into the merits of this case, and it is for the High Court to hear all sides and come to a conclusion as to whether such a redevelopment of the Sabarmati Ashram can be permitted or not. And as I said earlier, Tushar Gandhi has argued that this project is a big blow to the pristine simplicity and aesthetics of the ashram. And as per the redevelopment, according to him, only 44 buildings in the ashram complex will be retained, and around 200 buildings will be demolished. So these were the arguments put forward in the petition filed by Tushar Gandhi before the Supreme Court. But as of now, Supreme Court has set aside the Gujarat High Court judgment which had given permission for the redevelopment, and has asked the High Court to rehear Tushar Gandhi's petition.
Right. Harish, if you could please stay on with us. We are also being joined by Tushar Gandhi, the great-grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, on the broadcast. Right. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. What is your first reaction on this Supreme Court's judgment which has just come?
Very happy. Very, very happy, because this is what we expected. Justice had not been done when the High Court heard or did not hear the petition initially, and that was very disappointing because we have many issues to raise, many points to raise, and I'm extremely happy and obliged to the Supreme Court that they realized that the matter needed to be heard in detail and in depth before any sort of decision could be made. And so I'm greatly obliged to the Supreme Court for ordering that the High Court re-examine the whole thing. It gives me the opportunity to also present the details and all the aspects that pertain to this plan and why we object to it. Hello?
Okay. Yeah,
Is
Mr.
that fine?
Gandhi, I'm Harish Nair. Yeah, I want to ask you one question. The Supreme Court had said that your PIL was summarily disposed of by the High Court, and weren't your affidavit taken on record by the Gujarat High Court?
Our plea was not heard in depth. In the first hearing itself, just on the verbal assurance of the Gujarat Advocate General, the judges decided to dismiss our plea because they thought that the verbal assurance was enough. But the Supreme Court has opined that that is not enough. A proper legal procedure has to be conducted, and the initial judgment did not do that, did not do justice to my plea. And so I am very happy that the Supreme Court has upheld the process of the law.
So now what happens is that you and the government, everybody gets a chance to file detailed affidavits before the High Court. That right?
Because also you must remember that in my appeal, it was not only against the government. We had also made the trusts which are involved with Sabarmati Ashram and its surrounding institutions as respondents. And as a matter of process, they should also be given a chance to come and speak in court and answer to the questions that we have raised, which was not done. Now, everybody will have their time in court and be able to speak in court. And for the first time, the government of Gujarat will be forced to submit to the public detailed plans of what they are going to
Yes,
do
that's
in this redevelopment project, because till now they've only been issuing piecemeal information.
Yes, that's right. So, what was your main argument before the Supreme Court? What, according to you, what will be the effect of the redevelopment project on the pristine simplicity of the Sabarmati Ashram? How does it affect the
See,
Sabarmati Ashram? What do you
there
have
are
to say?
there were many issues that we had brought forward. One was the principles of Bapu, the ideology of Bapu. The other was about the pristine simplicity, frugality, and the non-use of extensive materials, and the astronomical budget for this redevelopment. So we challenged all those things. We had also raised very serious questions about the ownership of the ashram, what would be that status and how it would be going forward and all that. We had also raised the autocratic functioning of the government, where nothing else was being considered, nobody else was being taken into consideration, and also the legacy of Bapu, where he had very clearly given instructions on the utilization of the Sabarmati Ashram for in perpetuity. And so all these points were extremely important and need to be deliberated and understood and then a decision made. Unfortunately, the Gujarat High Court had not done all that. And so I'm very happy that the Supreme Court realizes that all these things need to be taken into consideration, and only then a proper judgment can be issued.
Okay, so basically the Supreme Court has restored your petition back to High Court, and all the sides will be heard all over again, and the matter comes back to square one from the start, from the
Yes,
beginning.
not all over again, because in the first place they were not heard at all. So the first time they will be heard now. They will be given an opportunity and they will become answerable. Each and every entity associated with the Sabarmati Ashram and this redevelopment project for the first time will now be answerable in public. That is the most important thing.
Okay, okay. Thank you for speaking to Mirror now, Mr. Gandhi.
Right. Thank you, Harish, for bringing us all those updates.